Hello, welcome back for another video on ARK Survival Ascended. It is finally Lost Colony release day, and it's that time again where I check out everything new on the map. So here's 40 new features added to the new Lost Colony map, so let's get straight into it. Well, kicking things off, we have the new menu screen. How cool is that? Looks absolutely beautiful with all the snow falling in the background. Up next, we have factions. On Lost Colony, you have the choice to be good or bad, which is very fitting for this time of the year. There are 3 factions all owning their own territory throughout the map. The good guys, which is the alliance of the United Republic of Earth, and 2 bad sides, Rockwell's element-fueled party and the Dark Lord Bad of the Bad. In-game, we only encounter the Rockwell side and the Lost King side. Killing Rockwell's revenants, improve status with the Lost King, and killing the Lost King's men will get you in trouble when exploring his territory. This will all make sense a little later on in the video. Of course, Lost Colony introduces a brand new story to follow, told in the form of the classic ARK CGI cutscenes and many other storytelling methods. Well, we all knew it was coming with the release of Lost Colony, and yes, the Ossodon could now officially breed. I honestly cannot actually believe what my eyes are seeing, but yes, I did hope to see the Desmodus make its return with Lost Colony, but I didn't actually believe it would happen. Even all the comments on my videos were telling me the Desmodus was not in the key art, while they are back in town nice and early. And so is the Sanguine Elixir and everything that makes the Desmodus so good. I am so happy to see them back in the game, man. On that subject, another very surprising addition is the Cryolophosaurus, which was a creature part of the ARK Editions mod back in ASE. We knew it was coming to the game at some point, but had literally no idea. And once again, I wasn't expecting it to drop with Lost Colony, so it was a very nice surprise. And it really does feel like it is in its natural habitat here. 4 new non-tameable creatures were added, beginning with gargoyles, which appear as stone structure statues that can be harvested. Disturbing them, however, will awaken the beast, which might be the last thing you want hunting you. Neophytes is a bat-like creature around the size of the Gigantopithecus. They ambush innocent survivors and take almost no damage from tamed creatures. The best way to slay them is through your own weaponry. These can be killed for some tasty loot. The Revenants are the purple zombie-like creatures we have seen in numerous key artwork the past few weeks, infected by liquid Edmundium courtesy of Rockwell experiments, swarming ruins in massive hordes just like zombies would in other games. Thralls are up next, and they act as the Lost King's workforce, rather intelligent soldiers that wield weapons and wear armor. These can also be killed for a variety of armor and weapons that you can take off their death cache. They also guard the city, riding around on their own variant of creature, known as Lost Creatures, which of course are not tameable. They are just there to guard the city. This is where the NPC features come into play. These thralls can actually be tamed, so to speak, through defense or attack outpost missions. You'll be able to command them into battle, order them to harvest resources, set them to turret mode to defend your base, and even base maintenance. Think Survivor Mate, but maybe better, I'd like to say. Time will tell on that one, but you can also command them to ride your own tamed creatures, which I thought was pretty cool. And added to that, you can take control of them yourself, switching to and from you and your thrall whenever you need to. You could do many things with the thrall, including just hopping on one of your tames and leaving yourself behind, and I don't think there's a range on this at all. This leads us on perfectly to the defense outposts. This is where you can aid thralls in defending their fortresses from the mindless revenants. A little bit of horde fortress defense mode here, where you kill waves of revenants to gain crafting materials, which you can use to set up your base defenses. Defeating all waves and the mini-boss at the end will see you showered in loot, plus a little bit of red element and some sigils. Then we have the attack outpost. This is where you attack the thralls, legions, and structures. Following that, fighting another mini-boss, which will drop the key, open the vault to also be showered in similar loot to the defense outposts. Completing both attack and defense missions will see you have your very own tamed thrall. Lovely jubbly. Resource caches are the final PvE open world event. These can be claimed and work very similarly to the orbital supply drops from Extinction, where you'll need to defeat waves of attackers to secure the loot. And we all love a good bit of loot. Of course, Lost Colony adds an array of new and beautiful biomes to the game. This will add many new assets to the dev kit, which modders can utilize in their future creations. So a big win-win there for the modders. Lost Colony adds many structures, weapons, and items to the game, including the new fabricated crossbow, which does support nearly every bolt, arrow, and harpoon projectile, with 3 different firing modes to choose from. Classic for standard fire, which shoots relatively quickly, marksman mode for long-range shots dealing higher damage with a slower fire higher rate, while consumes 3 shots rather than 1. And spread mode, or spray and pray mode as I like to call it, fire in the entire mag, dealing high damage and can hit multiple enemies at once. The tech spear is the ultimate versatile melee weapon. This thing can do it all from dashing to evade attacks, can be thrown for ranged damage and teleported to recover, and has a couple of attack options including a non-lethal torpor inflicting mode for takedowns, or to raise a defensive shield that can block attacks and deflect incoming projectiles. I definitely feel like a good version of Darth Maul right now. A hollow decoy that can be thrown down as a decoy in the form of your own self, which can distract wild creatures or lure them into traps. The Bloodforge is a new crafted station that can repair items and reinforce them beyond its max durability. It can also craft and convert element into red element, which is the next quick new feature by the way. Red element is used in crafting many weapons and items from Lost Colony. The Warbench works similar to the upgrade station mod, where you can stick low quality items and combine them to create a higher quality version of the item, and also re-rolls the stats of items when in possession of the required resources to do so. The re-roll process does have a 25% chance of failing, so do keep that in mind. The shoulder pet display stand and companion beds are something I've always wanted to see in the vanilla game. You can attach your creatures onto wall mounts or display stands to decorate your base with all your favorite beloved pets. They also perform their own idle animations, and don't they look cute? Oh, although I could not figure out for the life of me of how to get my companion to chill his beads on the bed, but I'm sure I'll figure it out at some point. The medical stand can be connected to wild and tamed creatures. Place one down next to a wild unconscious creature, chuck some narcotics in, and it will auto feed the narcotics to it when it needs it, just in case keeping a creature asleep was too much work for you. But the machine's main function is great for healing and crafting blood packs. After selecting the blood pack setting, it will then attach to your selected tamed creature, creating blood packs at the cost of slowly draining your creature's health, and works the opposite way too. When choosing the healing option, will consume blood packs and in exchange healing your creature over time. The Cryo Hospital is a tech tier storage unit. Any creatures in cryopods stored inside receive increased passive XP over time and regain any lost health and torpor very quickly. It does also appear to decrease the maintenance time on your creatures. Another familiar addition is the plant species ARK Proto. We have seen something very similar in Genesis Part 2 back in ASE. These can be harvested in the wild for some cheeky meat, and also rarely seeds, but does have the downside of triggering waves of deadly revenants. But once you do get a seed, you can grow one inside a tech crop plot back in the comfort of your own base, working the same way as the plant species are from Genesis Part 2. And of course there is 4 different plant types, one for each type of common meat. Arctic armor is the new skin set from the Alliance. It acts as fur armor but is much lighter, and also grants a stamina surge when equipping a full set, where sprinting consumes 50% less stamina. We now also finally have a snow ghillie skin in the game, something I've wanted to see since they introduced the desert ghillie. And when there's new weapon and armor skins, it would be rude not to add structure skins too. You'll now be able to fully renovate your base with the new Thrall structure tile set. Many structures and furniture like the billboards, signs, vaults, storage boxes, etc. can all be skinned to make your base feel right at home on Lost Colony. Adding to that, we now have a nice selection of lighting to choose from, ranging from wall and hanging lights to standing and desk lights. BEA Uleful. This gives me the perfect opportunity to introduce you to the new ARK TBS server clusters for Lost Colony. There is no better place to begin your journey. They run both PvE and PvP no-wipe clusters. For Lost Colony, players will start out naked and afraid, but the rest of the cluster will open up in February just to give players that fresh, new and exciting experience. Having boosted rates, a variety of quality of life TBS mods, with PvP servers offering balanced offline raid protection, custom caves, massive cash prizes, and many other awesome features. If you are interested, you can join their Discord servers, links are in the description of the video, or simply search tbs.com in the server browser after clicking show player servers to join right away. Now let's get right back to the video. Cursed weapons can be looted from outpost missions and also from the Lost King's army, allowing you to equip 2 equipment traits simultaneously. This does, however, require a sacrifice, as they cannot be repaired by standard means, either through regenerating slowly over time or from a blood forge. Lost Colony also adds new detailed storms and environmental effects. I cannot express how satisfying it is to run through the deep snow and see creatures doing the same with a trail in their wake. It looks amazing. The skill tree has had an array of new skills added to it. There is probably around 70 more skills to choose from, as opposed to the early access version of the skill tree which only had a small selection. I'm actually getting lost just skimming through these. We finally make our way onto some of the new creatures, beginning with the first and brighter form that the Veilwind can evolve into, which is the Soulwind. And let's just say evolving is quite the mission to do so I'm not going to go into too much detail here with these creatures, as I will do that in a later video. But anyway, the Soulwind shares some of the Veilwind's healing and support capabilities, while also utilizing attacks to freeze enemies, or even creating its own ice bridges to safely traverse tough terrain. I have not had this much fun riding a creature in a long time. It can slide downhill for what feels like years, and can also climb vertical surfaces more effectively than the Filer. It is easily my favorite new creature from Lost Colony. It's so beautiful and majestic, man. We now move on to the second form, which is the Malwind. The Soulwind's darker twin. The Malwind can also slide down hills too, but cannot climb walls like the Soulwind can. It has a variety of different attack modes, which can be selected when using a ranged beam, which will add to the counter up to 20 for maximum effect, and then can teleport to the target for a pouncing like finisher attack. I must admit, I was playing around with this for about half an hour and I still didn't really know what the abilities were all about. They're much harder to understand right off the bat, and I've been awake for 30 hours, so I do admittedly need a bit more time with it. The Gloon is next, and damn, look at that googly-eyed thing. They're kind of cute though, right? It can sit on your shoulder and works like any other shoulder pet, but can switch its stance so it goes onto your wrist just like the Cosmo or the Drakelin. When on your wrist, it has some unique attacks. An I-beam, which is a relatively powerful laser attack that slowly ramps up with more consecutive hits. A Mesmerize, which can temporarily mind control creatures. It can also do this automatically while on your shoulder. And the Necrotic Mark, honestly unsure of what this does, but it seems to attach some minging slimy goo stuff all over the creature's body and cause other creatures to attack it. The Aureliax is no doubt the creature that the majority of players were most hyped about to see in the game, and it is easy to see why. Who doesn't want to own their own majestic like Chinese dragon, swimming through the air like it is water? This thing is so much fun. It has many abilities, too much to really cover here in this short showcase video, but I'll go over some of my favorites real quick. It can go into two stances known as Yin and Yang. Its abilities will differ depending on the mode it is set to. It has a breath attack that deals average damage but can slow enemies in blue stance, or heal itself while hitting targets in yellow stance, while dealing some pretty hefty damage. And I'll close it out with its Sky Gate ability. In blue stance, creatures flying through the gate will gain a slight increase in movement speed, and when in yellow stance will gain stamina when flying through. This beast feels like the AC-130 of ARK. Genesis missions are back. Well, kinda. I know everyone used to love those missions. You do get the same interface for the mission when teleporting into the Lost Temple, where you need to retrieve keys from mini-bosses inside, while gradually making your way up to the Lost King. Upon reaching the end, gives us two boss fights in one. Firstly, you will need to defeat the Lost King, joined with the power of the Giga Desmodus. The boss fight is a little like Rockwell from Aberration, where he is basically immune to damage until you attack and disable the towers to lure him down to the ground. He is then fair game. Of course, has a lot of health, deals pretty hefty damage, and has some dangerous attacks, including being able to pick riders off of their mounts and a projectile that instantly knocks you out. So that's always fun. And if you do manage to defeat him, then you'll be met by the Lost Queen. I will not spoil the story here, but basically the arena will offer you the Tech Spear. This is the only weapon that can damage her, where you proceed to battle it out in close quarter melee combat. It is actually a really fun fight, and I am pretty impressed by it, but I do feel like I am playing Star Wars and not ARK, but it's still fun nonetheless, I guess. Ah yes, the Giga Desmodus. Well, the good news is that it is actually tameable. The bad news is you have to go through all those bosses to get one, where you will be rewarded with a fertilized egg at the end. I did, however, lose mine, as when I ascended and spawned back in, I ended up spawning in naked with no gear. So I guess you may need a creature to store it in before teleporting out of the arena. It is a pretty cool creature though. It has two saddles to choose from, one being a platform saddle, which is nice, having a strong wide AoE bite attack that life steals from its victims, a raised attack that deals high damage and can knock out some creatures, plus it can pick up creatures up to the size of a mammoth, but it is more of a trophy tame than anything. And that is going to be the end of the video for today. I hope you all enjoyed it, and if you did, please don't forget to like, comment, share around, and subscribe for more, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Take care, goodbye.